Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Lotusthesage. I'm so grateful that you're here. Thanks for joining me. We are going to do another pick a card today. We have 3 options, and our reading today is going to be about the romantic interest of you, my viewer. If they were to see a tarot reader, what would they say about you? This could be somebody that you've already established this type of relationship with. It could be like a first date. It could be somebody that you're just having a crush on. Doesn't matter. This will be a fun reading. So our first choice is a beautiful little whale for pile 1. Sunflower for pile 2. And the paw print for pile 3. So take a second. Whichever one you're gravitating towards most, that's the pile for you, and I will see you at your piles. Ciao. Welcome, my pile 1, my whale pile. We're gonna put him over here for you. And let's get into your spread. So what would a tarot reader say to this person of interest about you? First one out, we have the riddle. Animals. And the warrior. I'm getting a sense that the tarot reader would say that, or they would reference how the person coming to get the reading was feeling about you, like what their perception was of you. And I feel like you puzzled them, like you were an enigma of some kind, a type of riddle, something that they sort of had to figure out. I'm getting this like beautiful, I'm getting like a very dominant and fierce female energy, but with this amazing ability to shut it off or to switch it to its more masculine dominant energy. It's very beautifully balanced, but it's like you know how to use your sexual energies in a very clear, concise, and calculated and charming way. I feel like a very Lilith vibe energy. Warrior spirit for sure. They would also say that you are, or would feel somehow that you are an animal lover, or the conversation may have come up about animals. You have a deep connection to all types of animals. I'm getting more of like a, I guess just for an explanation, like a rocker vibe, goth vibe, into vampires, that kind of like witchy vibe. Like I'm getting like fishnets, leather, horns, animal prints, animal skulls, or you know, like that's the vibe I'm getting. You might even say like, or one of those people that are like, I like animals or dogs more than I like humans, you know, like it's that's the energy I'm getting. It's very, I want to say like street chic. That's what it feels like. This very cool, very much your own person, strong, confident, sexy, has your own vibe, kind of a dark vibe, but it's still very warm, very welcoming, and very nurturing, and very respectful. Yeah, it's like, again, that, like I was saying, that street chic. That's a tongue twister. Street chic. I'm getting also that, you know, like your teenage years, you might have been like a skater, or like I said, into like the other references I gave you, or into like graffiti, or that type of graffiti art. There's a lot of like I said, street chic. Very well versed in the nuances of street culture, let's put it that way. Interesting. Cool. Let's see some of your archetypes. Artsy, like I said, artist, light attributes. expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. Your shadow attributes: possibly using talents as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. I feel that if you were ever to go into your shadow attributes of the artist, it would be, because in my brain I was getting a possibility of a homeless vibe, you know, but this was like, not to say that you couldn't go back home, it was more of a choice to like live that way for a bit because of the discrepancies, the differences of your unique soul signature. This free, artsy, anarchistic, activist, like I said, gothy, eclectic, beautiful human being, but you know, society-wise, it probably was not very compatible with you, especially if you were this really super kind, sweet soul, but your external just gave you this really hard exterior. And that could be because of circumstance, you know? Anyways, that artist is making me think of the graffiti I was seeing and that type of art. Sorry for the lighting there, it's a little bright. But, alright. And then the next one, see, oh my god, that's so funny. Mahatma Gandhi. Where you find life, there is love. Happiness is when you're in harmony with your soul. Forgiveness is a sign of strength. It is the weak who cannot forgive. Interesting. And I feel, coming back to that open heart, warm, you know, gentle soul, that's Gandhi, you know? Sorry, that's Gandhi. So I feel like you were really trying to, like we said, find this happiness, right? And they're saying when you are in harmony, happiness is when you're in harmony with your soul. And you weren't wherever this was, which may have led you into the possible circumstances that I had discussed. But a true artist that was waiting and following its voice, but not necessarily sure where it's leading, as we all are, just trying to find our path on our journey. But you definitely have a very intuitive, empathic nature, they would say. They would say that you're super sweet. You might have a temper. You need a creative outlet. You might need a certain amount of time alone. You love, I would say that they would say that you love music. This is coming up now. You might have had some really dark, depressive periods in your life also, they would say. And you may have found a way to sort of self-inflict pain on you. There might have been a period of numbness for you also. That was a specific message. Sorry if that was a trigger for anybody. But very full, colorful, multi-dimensional being, I would say. And it's bringing me back to this like animals and whales and that sweet, gentle heart. It's like that's who you are at your essence. There is just circumstance, life, or just what you gravitated towards, where you felt the safest was within this persona of that hard demeanor that I discussed. Okay, let's see what the tarot has to add. We have Princess of Cups, Princess of the Palace of the Floods, which is your Page of Cups. Four of Wands, Lord of Perfected Work. King of Cups, Prince of the Chariot of Waters. This echoes back to the same feeling I'm getting with this very soft, emotionally empathic heart that has had to be a certain way to survive. That is what I'm getting. And this is what the tarot reader would say. It's like they'd say that they're much softer than they appear. They have a heart of gold, super giving and nurturing, will be very supportive and fun and lively and emotionally grounded. Like you've had a lot of life experience that have in like a short burst is what I'm getting. Or a fast burst of like growing up quickly. It may not have been from a young age or super young, let's say, but let's say for example it was like a 7-year stint of your life where you're like, holy shit, you grew up really quick. That's what I'm getting. Like a big chunk of life is where you did the most, where you created the most traction in your evolution thus far. Yeah, I feel like you'd be like just a solid person, but there's a possibility that your external vibe does not reflect completely who you are on the inside. I really do feel like there is a part of it that is slightly an armor still to make sure you are, again, safe, that you can take down some of this warrior energy and allow yourself to be in this nurturing space. I think that the tarot reader would say that's what they're looking for. Somebody that they can let their armor go with. They want to truly connect and have like a really solid connection. To celebrate, something somebody to laugh with. Have animals with. Create art with, be in love with. That's lovely. Okay, and then you do not leave insanity by going somewhere else. You leave it simply by accepting reason where there was madness. Look at that. When I was talking about sort of having a difficult beginnings or difficult phase in your life, this is what you did. Like you moved yourself out of the insanity. You know, you chose to accept the reason of yourself, which was to follow your soul. This is what that reader would say. This is a gem, a diamond in the rough. They'd say like this one is a diamond in the rough. They might be rough around the edges, but there is a beautiful freaking pearl and gem inside that is wanting to emerge. Give this person a chance, is what I would say. Time to talk it out. I would say that this person would be a great communicator. You wouldn't run away from problems. You wouldn't back down from difficult issues. You wouldn't just give up. You would fight for the connection, fight for whatever bond that you guys have built or would build. Yeah, to maintain its strength. And then, not today. Talking about healthy boundaries, I feel like you'd be able to, the reader would say that if they're in a situation or feeling a type of way, they'll be more than willing to talk it out, but they know when they need to just step away sometimes and not continue within the energy that they're in. They know how to balance their emotions. They would be very emotionally sound and not explosive in a way that would prevent you guys from really communicating clearly. Like they know when to allow themselves to tame that fire within, so that they can come to whatever situation with a clear mind, not in the madness, you know? You don't leave insanity by going somewhere else. You leave it simply by accepting reason, and they know this about themselves. I know that I might have a temper. I get riled up, so I'm gonna have to like not talk about this today or not deal with this today, but know that they're not negating it or running away from it. They're just trying to healthily handle their emotions before they can come and talk it out, which is a beautiful thing to have, somebody that's that balanced emotionally. Lovely. And then we have anger in reverse, right? Just as I was talking about being able to make that time out, or being privy enough to their own personality, so that they know when to step away, so that they can have better communication, that their emotions don't bleed into the argument or the conversation, period. Mystery. Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of when we talked about there's this like mystique about you, this mysterious, dark type of pull, not dark in a negative sense of the word, but just sort of, again, this, just mystery. Just let me put it that way. And as like I said, being able to control that anger in the reverse, you having this like sort of like, how do they do it? That's what they'd say, like, this person has a really uncanny way of being able to really manage themselves. That's the best way I can put it. And then you have, magic. You create this beautiful magic. I told you, this whole witchy vibe, this mystique and this mystery around you, this warm, beautiful heart, this almost like contradiction in this one body is what they would say. They would say that you have a lot to offer, a lot of magic, a lot of excitement, a lot of mystery, some creating beautiful things, a lot of beauty too, great communication, they would say. They say, but they do have a past, and it was a difficult past at some point, and because of that they have learned a lot, so they're very well adjusted, and they don't fuck around. That's what they say, that they don't. They're not going to be uber hurt by you, but they're going to make sure that everything is out on the table, or as clear as it can be, once they feel comfortable enough to allow themselves to release this barrier, or to release this armor. Okay, and we're going to take one of the energy oracle cards to see what advice the tarot reader would give to your person of interest when it comes to either approaching you or their next encounter, or what they should do about the situation. Let's see. Okay, 2 popped out. First one is first chakra, Archangel Michael. Yeah, it's sort of like trust in what you're feeling, and there's going to be like a feeling. Oh, there's 3 that came out. Trust in what you're feeling is what I'm getting, and there'll be like a really, I think they're asking you not to, they'll say to the person, like, don't act on your sexual impulses right away, because this won't work with this one. It doesn't mean that this person won't want, like you, my viewer, won't want to. It's just like, don't go there, because if you really want to get to know this person, this probably won't be the best way to do it for them. Angel of Strength. Again, reminding them that how strong you are, but I'm feeling the restraint, like I was talking about, like, Spirit wants them to, like, don't try to just get him in bed right now. Even though you might be so intrigued and enthralled and pulled in by this energy, try to resist. Have some strength, speaking of. That's so funny. With that angel of balance, exactly. Setting in that balance so that there's a good, healthy exchange, and it doesn't feel like a hit it and quit it kind of night, because it won't happen, especially if you really like this person. So that's amazing. I hope that was fun and helpful for you, my beautiful pal one. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully I'll see you at another reading. Ciao. Welcome, my pal 2 that chose the sunflower. I'm going to put her over here, and we're going to get into your spread. What would a tarot reader say to the person on your mind, or your romantic interest or crush, about you? Alright, first one out is the heart. Aww. The gold ray of Christ. Movement. I'm feeling that the tarot reader would say that this person's heart is the sweetest, most open, most generous, and most giving. Very nurturing, super warm. It is smart, and it keeps evolving. It doesn't stay stuck, it's not rigid, it's very open, if I hadn't said that already. It's a very deep sense of unconditional love, like this very graceful, full type of love. I feel like the tarot reader would say this would be like nothing that this person would ever has ever experienced before. This type of feeling, or the type of love, or the way that you can give love to them in particular. Yeah, I feel like your person that's asking may feel like this sense of wanting to protect you right away, or very protective over you in a sense. They would say that you make them feel very safe, very comforted, very warm. Almost like a very wholesome feeling is what I'm getting. I think also the tarot reader would say that it awakened something within that person that they didn't know that they were missing, wanting, or needing, and that comes out all from your essence and your energy. That's very sweet. So nice. Okay, let's do your archetype. Beautiful. Father, light attributes. Talent for creating and supporting life. Positive guiding light within a tribal unit. Shadow sides. Dictatorial control, abusive authority. This is so interesting because I was getting a very strong female Venus type of love energy, especially with that beautiful snake with the egg, the coloring, golden ray of Christ. This is very warm feminine energy, and to have that father attribute is beautiful because for me it echoes to this very rooted and grounded type of love. It's a solid love that you don't find very often, in the way that you can anchor this feeling in of complete safety and assurance. Yeah, exactly. You have a beautiful talent for creating and supporting life. You are this sort of like guiding light, like I said, this warmth that just makes this person want to protect like a father would. And they can, your person can feel like this very paternal or maternal energy from you, meaning like ready to wife you up or ready to scoop you up and husband you up, whatever it is. It's like this, like I found a catch is what I'm getting. Lovely. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. Always be the first lady. Marry for love, for money, but most of all, companionship. Don't just take the picture, enter it. That's lovely, and that is exactly what you do. You have this beautiful elegance and grace, and like I said, this wifey, spousey material, and even still like this like first lady type of vibe, like being a full participant in whatever role you and your love interest would agree to, you know, whatever that entails, you would fully embody and nurture that role, like we talked about, creating and supporting life. And you'd be, again, this unconditional love that you are. It's like, most of all, marry for companionship. And that's what your main goal is for this ultimate type of love, and you give it off. And they feel it. So a tarot reader would say, like, trust your instincts, trust what you're feeling. This one is not going to like dupe you out or deceive you in any way. They are truly, authentically that sweet. Okay, let's see what your tarot has to say. Temperance. Daughter of the Reconcilers. Ten of Swords in reverse. Lord of Ruin in reverse. And Four of Swords. Lord of Rest from Strife. Again, a beautiful person that knows how to temper energies, especially when things get hostile, but there's no need, because this person's energy will automatically mitigate whatever tensions or hostilities that may arise when it comes to conflicts or conversations. They know exactly how to like literally mediate, arbitrate situations. They automatically calm you, make you at ease. That's what the tarot reader would say. This is the effect that you have on them. I'm getting like this, it's almost like that, the persona or the embodiment of like a warm blanket, you know? It's like that's what my viewer, your energy is like for this person who's asking about you. It's like every time they're around you, like their mental anxieties or their overthinking just eases. Everything just calms in your presence. Oh, it's so sweet. It's so sweet. Amazing. Okay. Then we have nothing can hurt you unless you give it the power to do so. And this is the temperance, right? This is your energy. It's like you, like we said, you know how to balance all of this. Like this is not going to make this, we're not going to make this a big deal. This doesn't have to be something this painful. You know, this doesn't have to bring us to ruin. Let's talk this out. Let's chill. We got this. You know, this beautiful, supportive, loving person. As I said that, it's like, look up. They'll always be able to the person, they'll always be able to let you see or help you see the brighter side of the situation, to look up, to look forward, to keep moving. You know, they'll be able, again, this beautiful, nurturing ability to support, to create and support life. A positive guiding light. Look at that, on the Four of Swords. Yep, retreat on the Four of Swords, exactly. Like, they know exactly how to make everything just calm down for the person who's asking about you. They'll reassure them, as the reader would say. They'll make you look to the positive side, to get out of your head, to allow yourself to retreat and calm, and just nurture that part of you that may, the reader will say to them, they may get anxious or insecure or easily aggravated by certain things. This person is literally the embodiment of a frickin' warm hug. A beautifully weighted blanket, you know? It's lovely. Then they'll say that you exude this beautiful confidence, that you give them some confidence too, that they're very sure of who, that you're, my viewer, very sure of who you are. They'll say they will not ghost you, they won't leave you in the dark, they won't not communicate with you, they won't run away, they're like, I'm hearing they'll be there for the long haul. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, no need to fear, they're going nowhere. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you were to choose to continue, the reader would say, if you can choose to continue to pursue this person, do not fear this. They're not running away. They won't ghost you. They're not playing tricks on you. They're just really well adjusted, you know, and very comfortable in giving and loving and nurturing, which may not be something that this person who's coming to the reader for has been overly exposed to in a very healthy way. Beautiful. So the reader would say that this person is genuine, balanced, supportive, positive, calm, graceful, stable. Very, very loving. All right, what advice would the tarot reader give to your person about you? I'm going to take 3 because pile 1, 3 of them came out. All right. First one out was Healer of Ages. This is what this person is going to feel from you. It's going to feel like you're the one that heals them, like we talked about, from all this overthinking or anxiety or types of depression in a sense. It's like this nurturing quality that I think you've been craving, the person who's seeing the reading about you, they've been craving. You're able to give this to them. Financial constraints. The reader would also say that a part of what the person who's getting the reading, part of what they might be going through in their life has to do with some of this financial restraints, but is actually stemming from this heart healing that is needed. You know, so I feel like a part of this connection, or the reason why you may have met this person or connected so deeply, why they're even asking about you possibly, is for you to come in. Spirit has brought you guys together to heal certain parts of each other, where for this person I feel like their financial worries have more emotional resonance and connection to their heart space, how they were loved, therefore lack of love, that nurturing I was talking about, that has always made them feel like slightly not good enough or not worthy to get and receive what they actually deserve. And I feel like you, my viewer, are bringing this sort of healing energy in. Not that it's your responsibility, you automatically do this. What you're gaining, in my opinion, based on like this from them, it's like this ability to give it to somebody. Because I feel like you've been wanting to give of yourself so fully, like you're fully ready. And to be able to have somebody that's wanting to receive it from you, and that takes it, and that really appreciates you, is beautiful. And then we have adjacent possibilities. It's, the reader would say, like, this person will give you a different outlook on life. It'll give you a different perspective, like we talked about how you've been viewing, how that person's been viewing their life, or their choices that they've made, or being able to like walk through a new door, have a new pattern of not being able to have these fears with them, you know, of being ghosted, of not being reciprocated in love, of, you know, of constantly being hurt or being manipulated in a sense, of being in arguments. It's like this, you, my viewer, would give them a different possibility entirely, a different experience, hence that healer of ages than they've had, that would get them out of this feeling of lack or feeling like they're not good enough in some way. So my beautiful pal too, that is what the tarot reader would say about you, that this person is a keeper, and a long time keeper. They don't come by like this full, this giving and this nurturing and this balanced often. So seize the opportunity, take the movement towards them. Oh, I love that. That's amazing. I hope that was helpful, or at least fun for you, my beautiful pal too, and gave you something to think about. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope I see you again. Ciao. Welcome my pal 3 that chose the animal paw. I'm going to put him over here. And let's get into your spread. What would a tarot reader say to your person of interest about you? How would they describe you? All right. Wow. The Father. The Son. Wildling. Interesting. So I'm getting this very masculine energy for sure. Very forthcoming, charming, chivalrous, gallantry. I'm not sure if what that means. I'm feeling the balance of the boy into the man, or that transition of both. The wildling talks about that innocence and freshness and naivety in a sense, so I'm getting like that adventurous spirit with the maturity of wisdom and age that a father tends to bring. With the father archetype too coming up first, about being so much about the doing that they may not always be present in some of the things that are happening in the home, you know, in that essence. I hope that makes sense. So it feels like you would come across to them as very, very business, very strict in a sense, very matter of fact or to the point, very direct and focused, very strong, and not afraid to take a risk. They would say that you're very, you can have a very like boisterous personality, or you could just automatically, they may feel that you just radiate this beautiful sort of glow about you because you're so, there's like this strength to you, but it's like a strength that's felt, there's not something specific that you'd actually have to do to show the strength. That's what I'm getting. Cool, let's see your archetype. Beautiful. Companion. Light attributes: loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. Shadow attributes: betrayal by misusing confidences, loss of personal identity. I feel like you may have dealt with that in the past because of how brightly that you shine, my viewer. I think that's what the tarot reader would say, that they're very, very careful about the types of energies that they engage with, because a lot of people, I feel, may be very intimidated by you, my viewer, or that's the reactions that you get, or they just don't seem to like match up with you, or the people that you've been with prior. I'm getting a feeling of they felt inadequate in comparison to you, and it feels like, my viewer, you need somebody who's strong, capable, sees their worth, but allows you also to be still childish, to be playful, to allow the feminine side of you to shine more easily, because you don't have to fill in that archetype or energy that you need or want in that sort of union or connection. Like, very loyal, I would say very beautiful too. I'm getting a sense of like really lovely hair, or they like the way you style your hair. They really like that you're not afraid to like speak your mind too. Even if you don't know a lot about a particular topic, you'll still not be afraid to just chime in and say your input. Very charming. Mary Shelley, also very smart. The beginning is always today. Elegance is inferior to virtue. A slavish bondage to parents cramps every faculty of the mind. They would say that you're, again, very intelligent, very smart. They'll say to choose your own life, again, because you're very direct and very focused. You're like, there's nothing that needs to hold you back. There's nobody needs to hold any strings to you. Do you want this or not? You know, like I said, very direct. No excuses, no bullshit. But again, this very willing participant to be vulnerable. They just need to have the right energy reciprocated back at them to allow for that vulnerability to be more expressive. That's what the tarot reader would say to your person. Okay, let's see what your tarot. Yeah, Queen of Cups. Queen of the Throne of Waters. Five of Cups in reverse. Lord of Loss in pleasure. And then Eight of Wands. Lord of Swiftness. The tarot reader would say exactly what we said already. This beautifully nurturing, wonderfully feminine component to you. But because of the fact that, you know, you've had to fight for what you have. You've had to be this sort of archetype for yourself, because either there could be like, you know, possibility that your father may have been partially absent when you're growing up, or that masculine energy in your life was not as consistent or as dominant, possibly, or the vice versa, where you may have been more connected to the father energy and what they provided in your life. So depends on what that is. Either way, that particular energy or part of your evolution and growth made you into this beautifully strong, balanced, still playful, and knows how to come out of situations stronger. Like, you don't dwell in some of the sadness. Like we said, you just pick up and go. It's like ready to go, which is that swiftness. You make quick, decisive actions from emotionally mature place that doesn't keep you stuck in the poor me's. It's like you refresh very quickly like a child, that wildling, that rejuvenation that you have. But again, it's because of that sun vital force energy that is behind every action step you take. Yeah, it's like I radiate golden light and take decisive action. That is who you are. Amazing. Then we have prayer and or meditation practices, 00. Watch for and follow the signs, God force, beginning, alpha, universe, energy. So, the tarot reader would say to them that this person is very connected to their source energy. Again, this alpha type of personality, this really rooted and grounded, that you follow your convictions is what you do. You don't back down. And you have space for this calm, meditative place to be reflective. You allow yourself to move with the force of your life, the force of the energies at play. That's solar energy, that 8 of Wands. Speaking of, follow the energy. That's what you do. You don't waste time. You don't dwell. You're like, I just follow and I go. It'll be very motivating for this person, but you know, they're saying that this person's very strong in character. You just have to make sure that you do not see yourself, the person who's getting the reading, as less than, because it will feel overbearing for them. It will feel like they're not enough if you don't just be honest and step up. They would also say that you're extremely loyal and that you'd be by their side. If they were to follow the energy towards you, they'd say this person is loyal companion. They'll be very supportive. They'll be by your side. They'll be there through thick and thin. This has been a very much a collective energy of longevity and staying power. But it's for you in particular, my pal 3. You're really definitely needing and wanting somebody to match your energy, or at least to fill in majority of this this voided space here, so that you can, you know, allow the balance to flip-flop a little bit more frequently between your feminine and masculine sides. Okay, isolation in reverse. Like I said, they won't leave you alone, meaning like they won't abandon you. That's what the tarot reader would say. They'll stay by your side like we talked about. Then we have stop. I feel like they will give the person who's getting the reading an ending to their feeling of loneliness. That's what I'm getting from the stop the isolation. They'd be like, this person would be able to stop that feeling of feeling lonely, or whatever disconnection they may have had with other people's in the past. Like, it'll make sense with this person. Like, oh, I get it, because this person just gets me. And they have like this active energy that gets me up and going. You know, that's what gets that person up and going. You have this sun energy for them. You give them life. Speaking of movement, right? Same as that 8 of Wands that you got over there, that swiftness, right? It's like you bring in this movement, this clarity, this energy, this freshness, this support, this strength, this nurturing paternal type of energy with this beautifully feminine maternal energy all at the same time. Once the allowance of each person to fulfill their roles, both fully masculine and feminine, in energies within each other and within the dynamic. Because we always choose, not always, but we alternate between both masculine energies within ourselves, within different types of dynamics of the relationships, right? Some things need a softer approach, some things need to be a little bit more direct. And I feel like you two will balance that out within each other and give each other what you guys don't normally have readily available to you guys, which will help hone in on that skill individually. Therefore, make your bond even stronger. So the tarot reader would say, they'd say that they're a tough cookie. So come ready to, with not even with your A game, just be like, don't back down, don't shy down. Like, you gotta come strong at this person. Okay, what would a tarot reader's advice be for your person to close off your reading, to help them with this connection? We're gonna get 3 since every group got 3. What is their advice? Okay, well, if these two came out together, I will honor them. First one is attachment. I think the reader would say, again, because we were talking about this isolation, right? Bringing the stop to this isolation, how the person who's getting the reading might have been feeling in their past period or past relationships. They're saying just to warn them to not get too attached to this person, because again, this is this very direct, clear masculine type of direct focus, that if you get too attached or too codependent, that could create a problem. So just make sure that you allow yourself to just trust that this person's not really going anywhere, or to honor to truly trust in that they are loyal, that they will be loyal. They won't do something like behind your back, even though they are very much this like alpha type. I feel like because of the strength of this personality too, the tarot reader would say just make sure you trust this. Like you have to be fully in your own autonomy before you really come to this person, because you will have a tendency or possibility of feeling less than for this person, like you don't match up. Speaking of, which could create some anxiety, right? If you get to attach too much of your worth to them or the relationship, you still have to have your autonomy for this to work and flourish in the most beneficial way, which will bring in this door to personal healing and happiness out of the anxiety that will show you again your worthiness, right? That door to value, which they bring in, but which makes you see their own value, the person who's getting the reading, and seeing that I'm by your side, right? It's like, it's just this worry, and that's that Five of Cups. Like they're gonna teach you, my viewer, is teaching them how to let go of attachments, to trust in a really healthy relationship, to know that you don't have to lose your autonomy to be in something helpful, healthy, trusting, and loyal. You know, it's movement together, movement separate, but always moving with each other in the direction needed for, again, door to value. I would say that the reader would also say that they found that your person feels like you would be a perfect companion for them, but I feel like your person might be feeling a little less than or not quite ready to give you what they think you deserve, what they know you deserve, because they're not quite there in their own thoughts about the way they think about themselves. Interesting. Beautiful, though. Okay, my beautiful pal 3, I hope that was helpful and at least entertaining and gave you some food for thought. I'm so glad that you joined me today. I hope I get to see you again. I'm sending you so much love. Until next time, this is Lotus. Ciao.